Alright, this is another video for 3VT about exercise 16 from chapter 5. This is about the ABC formula, which I explained in my previous video. So if you haven't watched that, then I highly suggest that you do, because then it will explain where this whole formula comes from. But we use this formula to calculate the x-intercepts of a equation. So here we have this equation and we want to figure out what x is, and this formula can be useful because sometimes you cannot use the product sum method, when sometimes completing the square is a bit difficult, so then you can always use this formula. The first thing that you should do is write down what a is, what b is, and what c is. Now a is always the number in front of x squared, so that's 3. B is always the number in front of the x, so that's 7. And c is always the separate number, so that's 2. Now be careful, because sometimes these are written down in a different order. For example, the x squared can be over here. That means that the a would have been minus 7 if there was an x squared here. Right? So be careful where the x's are, and then write down what a, b, and c are. Now this part in the square root, we're going to calculate that first. It actually has a special name. It's called a discriminant. And I'll tell you why it's useful to calculate that first after we calculated it. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, just always. Just to memorize this formula, it's always that. B squared is minus 7 squared. And then minus 4, there's always a 4 here. And then times 3 times 2. Now if you calculate this is 49 and this is 24, so we get 25. So this is positive, it's a positive number. That's useful to know because we need to take the square root of that number. So if it's positive, that means that we can actually calculate this. Now if the discriminant were negative, then I cannot put it in the square root because you get no answer then. So what that means is that if I draw this parabola, right, maybe it looks like this, it's positive, so that means it goes through the x-axis here. If it would be negative, that means it sort of hovers over the x-axis. It doesn't go through it. We cannot solve it. So if the discriminant is negative, then there is no solution. But I'll tell you more about that in a later video. We know what the discriminant is now, so now we're going to calculate what x is. So x is minus b, so minus 7, so that's 7, plus the square root of the discriminant, and then divided by 2 times a, so 2 times 3. Well, this is 5, 7 plus 5 is 12, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So one of the answers is 2, so that will probably be that one. And then the other one is 7. Oh, why do I write down a plus? I have no idea. 7 minus the square root of 25 divided by 2 times 3. Okay? So that means that, I write down a 6. Okay. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6, so this is 1/3. This is the other answer, so that is that over there. So here we have these two answers, and because one of them is a broken number, you can see why we have to use the ABC formula. Because it's very hard to use the product sum method when there's a broken number. I mean, you can actually do that. Let me show you that over here. Here we have 3x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. Now if I want to solve that, that means that first I have to divide everything by 3. So I get minus 7 over 3x and then plus 2/3 equals 0. And then I need to find two numbers. If I multiply them, I get 2/3, and when I add them, I get this, which is of course minus x minus 2 and x minus 1/3. Because if I do, this is just 2 1/3 is just the same as that, and if I multiply it, I get that. So you can also use the product sum method for it, but I think this might be a bit hard for some people to figure out. That's why we have this lovely ABC formula over here. So one more time to repeat, you have a formula, you figure out what A, B, and C are. You just fill them in, so you don't have to do any difficult thinking. You just fill everything in on the correct place, and then you just calculate it, and then you have the answer. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.